Everybody's here today that wants to be here. But I want to tell you right now, it's 10 o'clock and we're starting these proceedings, and the door, nobody's going to be allowed in until we have a break, and then they can come in. There's not going to be any going in and out on a regular basis, because we are operating under court proceedings in here. It's not a town hall meeting. It's not an open to the public meeting. Anybody in the public can come in here at the appropriate time. But this is not going to be a handle like any other meeting that we have in the town of Latta. This hearing is called, and I got a script I'm going to go by to go over some things. I hope all of you saw this notice before you came in. Did anybody not see it? If you didn't see it, raise your hand. Well, I'm going to give you a minute to open that door and look at it. Let them look at it. I'm not going to go over it right here. Okay, everybody's seen it now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I'm going to call this hearing to order at this time. This hearing is called to order by the Municipal Election Commission of the town of Latta. Today is Saturday, December the 11th, 2021, and it's 10 o'clock. This hearing is called to address a protest filed by Teresa Mason as a candidate in the mayor's race for the town of Latta. Ms. Mason has filed a protest alleging Robbie Coward, the person elected mayor of the town of Latta, is not a resident of the town of Latta as required by town ordinances in the state of South Carolina. Ms. Mason bases her protest on town of Latta ordinance section 2.46, section 2.46, and SC code section 75610 and SC code section 7125. Did I get that correct?
Yes, sir.
This election protest, the election being protested was held on Tuesday, December the 7th, 2021. The protest, as I said, was filed by Teresa Mason, who was the unsuccessful candidate for the town of Latta mayor. The protest was filed Thursday, December the 9th, 2021 at 5:59 with the clerk of court of the town of Latta. This court finds Ms. Mason has proper standing to file this protest. The protest was properly served on the Municipal Election Commission and on Robbie Coward. This hearing is being held to hear the protest filed. The Municipal Election Commission consists of myself, O.C. Lane Jr., Tyrone Willis, and Amanda Grice. The town of Latta attorney is Janet Pascal, who is charged with providing guidance to us, the commission. Teresa Mason, the electoral candidate who has filed this protest, is over here. She is not represented by an attorney. She's representing herself. Robbie Coward, the person elected on December the 7th, is over here, and he is also not represented by an attorney. Also present is a court reporter over here who will be taking down everything that is being said today so that we will have a complete record. I ask that any and all recording devices, other than the Dillon Herald, which they have permission to be here, be turned off, and that all cell phones be returned to your cars. Do you have a cell phone in here? Does anybody have a recording device? Thank you. Everything will be taken down by the court reporter so that it will be clear record of what is being said. I ask that you listen very carefully to the next several items stated by this commission. Number one, this hearing will be conducted in accordance with the procedures and rules which are observed by the circuit courts in South Carolina. Number two, no person is allowed to speak unless to testify or unless a party to this action is unpresented or a party's attorney. I hope you clearly understand that. Nobody else has any right to comment unless they're called upon, they're a witness, or they are called upon by an attorney representing. And there are no attorneys, so I assume that y'all will have the opportunity to call somebody. This hearing does not include a time for public comments, and public comments or outbursts will not be tolerated. Any person or persons disturbing the hearing by speaking out, interrupting, or any outburst of any type will not be tolerated. Any person acting out of order will be asked to leave, and the commission will seek the assistance of law enforcement to remove such person if they refuse to leave peacefully. Number four, what occurs here today is an important part of the election process. As just stated, the hearing must be orderly at all times. Number five, and the last one I'm going to emphasize, is that testimony at this hearing shall be limited to the grounds stated in the protest, which I just read out to you. No other issues are before this body. So if it doesn't relate to the issues that we are addressing today, we're not going to hear it. We got nothing to do with it. Are there any questions of anybody before we get started?
Can I ask a question?
Yes, sir.
If I want to challenge any photo up there because it doesn't have a private investigator or somebody that's certified that can take pictures and that kind of stuff, who do I need to request that request? Is you or the town attorney?
You have the right to challenge anything.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yes. And we will address it at that point.
And for purposes of the record, that was Robbie Coward.
Excuse me.
When you speak, if you will identify yourself so that the court reporter will know who's speaking, we'll try to help with that too.
I'm sorry, I was supposed to say that, but I didn't say that.
I'm sorry.
But you heard it. Now, if you were called on to say something, or you are not one of these two, then I'll call on y'all when your time is up, time to come. But please identify yourself if you don't say it.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
That individual I was told was bringing some information from the town attorney, was on that.
I am not expecting any information from anyone.
And I did state that now. Once we have begun, and we have begun, we're not going to let anybody else in or out until we have a break or the hearing is over. Yeah. Why don't one of y'all stand outside, one of the officers stand outside and let these people know that so they won't be standing out there for a considerable amount of time. Okay, I want to ask one question. I'm going to make this statement, it's not a question. I ask that anyone who is scheduled or thinks they might be scheduled to testify to please stand up right now. Do you have any further witnesses?
Yes.
Do you have any witnesses? Okay, will you raise your right hand and we'll swear you in?
And if the parties would also stand so they could be sworn
Okay,
as
right.
well.
Excuse me. Please raise your right hand and repeat after me. I solemnly swear
solemnly swear
to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
You may be seated. At the conclusion of this hearing, this commission will pause for a review of what has been stated, and after that shall rule on this issue and issue a verbal and a written decision. Everybody understand that? Okay, the commission recognizes Teresa Mason and asks that she present her case.
I ask that Mr. Coward produce his driver's license, his voter registration card, his vehicle registration card, and his vehicle insurance card.
I can produce my driver's license, but I don't have my ID for my car and all that, I don't have that. But I can show you my voter's card.
Are you driving?
I've got a driver's license, yes, I have a driver's license, so I'll show it to you.
What would the other, go with those again?
I need his vehicle registration, which should be in his vehicle since he's driving, and his vehicle insurance card, which also should be in his vehicle since he's driving.
It's not in there, I will tell you that. That's not in there.
If those items are not in your wallet, do you have them in your vehicle?
No, sir, I don't have them. I don't. And I send somebody out with my truck and get my jacket, and I won't be know they could pull with. I know I had to drive a license, I might have stuck in my jacket pocket. Can I send my brother to go to my truck to get that?
Yes, sir.
You want to look at my truck, the tan jacket on, should be on the driver's side. That the tan, see my voter card, thank you, there, and my driver's license plate. I used to get back in there.
Mr. Howard, if you don't have your vehicle registration, law enforcement may be able to pull that for you based on your driver's license number
They can pull it.
while we're here, so that, since you said you don't have it,
Okay, they can do it, they
they
can
can do that for you.
And, do you have any bills in your name?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. I've got a light bill that was stated that the service was turned on in my residence on November 4th. That was the first bill I got, November 4th to November 30th from Duke Energy. I went to the town hall on November 1st and paid $125 water deposit for that address.
Was that thrown out?
Sir,
Was it $120
$125.
water?
Yes, sir, but they said I'd live, for Latta, and it was $125. Have the application here that I filled out. Okay, if I Can I say something else? There's my driving license.
May I?
We'd like to look at it as well.
And for purposes of the record, you may want to state what you're looking on at the driver's license.
We're looking at the address on the license.
For purposes of record, we can say that his driver's license does have his current address listed as 945 West Calhoun Street, Dillon, South Carolina. And that his voter's registration reflects that address of 304 South Marion Street, Latta.
Make one more comment? Make a comment to the board
Yes.
concerning that. State law allows me so much time to move my driver's license, you know, if that's what I want to buy, or my voter registration to my car. I'm within the state law. I'm not breaking the law when you got so long to move your driver's license, that kind of stuff. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll add to that section, state section law 56-1-230. States that notification of change of address is made whenever any person applying or receiving a driver's license shall move permanently from one address to another shall be done within 10 days.
What was that?
Section number is 56-1-30. 230, excuse me.
Is that the state law for which is vehicle, or is that the state law with
Your motor,
Oh,
the driver's
vehicle.
license.
the driver's license?
Can I make a response?
Yeah.
I'd like to make a response. That would be something between me and DMV. It wouldn't be between me and the election commission, you know, part of the thing. It would be an issue that DMV, the patrol would stop me and say, you know, I'm gonna write you a ticket, or you had changed your name within 10 days. I mean, that would be me and a DMV issue.
So you're saying, well, I want to make it clear for everybody to understand. So what you're saying is this 5631 is a DMV law,
DMV law.
not an election
No,
law.
it's not election law.
Okay.
We operate election laws.
All right.
DMV law.
Going to election law, South Carolina voter registration information. If you have moved, you must first update your residency address with DMV. As already stated, his voter registration said that he lived at 304 South Marion Street. He does not, according to his ID. He lives at 945 West Calhoun Extension. Here's your voter registration. Also says under penalty of law, he has perjured himself and can be convicted and incur penalties.
Respond to that.
One second. What did you read out for us? What she just said?
Go down, register online, it says you must have moved, you must first update your residence address with DMV.
Is that on this form?
That's on the blue, that's on the actual, and then on the form here, it's on the, it just says that whosoever willfully and knowingly swear and affirm falsely and taking any oath required by law shall be guilty of perjury and on conviction incur pains and penalties of offense. And it says the address listed above is my only legal place of residence, and I claim no other place as my legal residence.
On my response on that, when I went to get my voter card, Susie Edwards, the director of elections, she ordered me, she said, I've got to have something that states that you have, that's your, going to be your residence. And I said, this is going to be my residence. I went by the town hall and paid my water bill. I'm on the way to the Dillon County Assessor's Office to do away with my homestead exemption on my house on, on Calvin Street. So, and she said, you good to go. She said, Robbie, and I've asked her this since then, She said, the state of South Carolina will never let you vote in that election if it wasn't to be illegal. So she says, you know, they in violation if they let you vote and you're not a legal residence.
Say that again, Ronnie.
When I went to get my voter's card, she said, I got to have something showing you got your address. So I showed her the water bill. And she looked at it, she made a copy of it. She said, you got to have something showing you intent, if you live, moving there. And that's what I said, I'm moving here. And on November 1st. And I went to the Dillon County Tax Assessor's office and talked to Miss Angel Bethea. And they pulled me this thing where
That same day?
on that same day, and told them to take my discount, my domicile, I want to say it, off the house in Calhoun, that I'm gonna move to Latta.
Has that been done?
Yes, I moved to Latta.
No, has that been done at the office there?
I haven't looked back and seen it's done, but all I can go by is what the order of the office told me to do. But number one, you can't claim but one domicile, and that's what I claim. I don't know if what they changed, but I've got witnesses that I told a person that worked with Dillon County, and I don't know, I ain't looked at it, make sure she done it, I mean, but she wrote it down, what I wanted to do with it. And they also pulled me a map at the same time of the property, at that time, where it showed that property belonged to Joseph E. Coward and ETAL, which is Henry L. Coward and Anthony Wayne Coward. And we've owned that property since 2000 and, where did it show that? 2005 when my mother passed away, and leaved to me and my two brothers.
Can we see that, please?
Yes, sir. So I've got plenty of intent. That's what we're doing. See where it says sale price 0? 2005. It's belongs to the Dillon County property. It belongs to Joseph E. Coward, ETA, which is Anthony Wayne Coward and Henry L. Coward.
And who is Joseph?
That's my brother. That's right there.
Your brother?
Yes, sir.
Who was here?
That's me.
Oh. Your name, so your name for
We
the
were
record?
there, Robert Coward.
Okay.
Y'all need to keep this?
No.
So, Mr. Coward, you're not sure or not if the homestead exemption has been removed from your residence?
I'm not sure, but I can tell you one road that I told Angel Bethea, which is the lady that does it. So I don't know if she changed it or not. But it's not against the law if it's still everywhere. I mean, I know everywhere, you know. But all I can do is about what Angel Bethea said. She wrote it down. Matter of fact, Mr. Mason was in the courtroom where they were having the tax sale property, and me and him went to City County Complex at the same time that day. And Angel was upstairs where I went to, and Richard Getty was in there, Wendell Lee, and 2 or 3 ladies working, and I told her to do that.
Can I ask that if he's going to refer to other people saying things and doing things, they need to be present, otherwise this is hearsay? Thank you. All right, Mr. Coward, where do you currently reside?
Where I currently reside,
Yes, sir.
in the town of Latta, my residence.
What is your address, sir?
My address is 304 South Marion Street,
And how long have you resided there?
since June the 1st.
Since June
No,
1st?
not June, but November 1st, I get the election mixed up, November 1st.
You have lived in, that has been your domicile since November 1st.
Yes.
I need to ask a question of Mr. Taylor. Mr. Taylor, I have an affidavit from Mr. Eric Sellers that says he will not be leaving, and did not leave the premises of 304 South Marion Street until November 6th. Is this something that you got?
That is something we got in the town, and the way we turn it off.
Who is Eric Sellers?
He is the person that was residing in the house on November 1st through November 6th, not Mr. Coward.
I respond to this. Mr. Sellers did live in the house, and I went to him, and, you know, he got him another place. He asked me, he said, Mr. Coward, can I have a couple of days before I move my stuff? It's not against the law who I let spend the night in my residence. It's not the law, I don't break the law for who I let. I mean, I can let Mr. Tyler really spend the night there tonight, it's not against the law.
When did you say he did move out?
The 6th. Is when he finished moving his stuff. He's already out, in and out of it, but he just finished cleaning everything by the 6th. Which was before the 30 days.
All right, continue.
Who was this witness, this thing here? I can't read it right.
It's a town employee, street director.
Jason Welch.
Jason Welch.
Okay, so you changed your water bill on November the 1st, you changed your power bill on November the 4th.
No, I called it in before that. That's when they started the service, was on November 4th. I called it in on the 1st or either the 2nd. I don't remember that date, it was either the 1st or the 2nd.
So you got water bills and power bills showing that you were the resident even though you were not at that time.
Yes, I got him. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, but we've already shown that you were not in residence November 1st.
Do I now?
We already showed that you were not in residence November 1st.
How do you show I'm not in residence?
Because you were not, just because you had, I can have Betsy's bills turned into my name. That doesn't show that you were living there. And we have a statement from someone who was living there.
That moved out November the 6th, finished moving out. They were already.
According to Mr. Sellers, he did not move out until the 6th.
I'm not arguing with you. Mr. Sellers, the water bill was in the girlfriend name, and she's been moved out. And she's also didn't tell nothing. She called town hall on the 2nd and told him to turn the water off, so she abandoned the property. And the water bill was in her name, it wasn't Mr. Eric's. And she'd been gone for a month and she left him.
Again, facts not in evidence.
Well, I'm just stating.
Let me ask you a question here. You said it, and she put Mr. Eric Sellers up here. Did you rent this house to Eric Sellers, or who is this person you're talking about? Who do you rent this house to?
At one time, I'll let my brother tell you that, because he likes houses to rent. The lady rents it and Eric's rented it before far as that goes. I mean, one would come in one time and pay the rent, and another come in another time and pay the rent. Ain't that what you told me, Bill?
Can I speak?
He's not been sworn if he is sworn.
I have no problem you speaking, but you have to stand up and take the oath. Please
I
raise
swear
your.
to tell the truth, nothing but the truth.
I solemnly swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I solemnly swear to tell the truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Thank you.
Mr. Eric and his wife was having a problem where they was 3 months behind on rent. And I had been trying to talk to him and tell him, you know, you're 3 months behind, and then Eric called me up crying and said that he's gonna get out, he's gonna get out. So this process had been started with the house getting out way before. But unlike a lot of people, you don't just throw people out. I didn't just throw him out of the house when he had nowhere to go. We gave Mr. Sellers some help on finding him another place. We had a place in Dillon, trying to help him. And he said that he'd rather stay in Latta, and that's we helped him with a place in Latta. But we didn't just throw him out. We were working with Mr. Sellers. You know, he told me that him and his wife was going to get back together, and they were going to catch the rent up and all that kind of stuff. All I tried to do was help. Now, if I thought the day was going to be the day and that kind of stuff, which I didn't know at the time, I wouldn't, I mean, go down there and get the police officer to throw his stuff in the yard. We're not that type of people. Daddy didn't raise us that way.
And you have evidence and correspondence to prove this?
But prove what?
That
they
this
were behind on
conversation,
rent?
and that you had the conversations going back and forth between the two of you?
I didn't write this stuff down, no, but if you ask Mr. Eric what I did for him, ask him. You got his number, you got his investigator.
Again, I'm looking at evidence. Mr. Powell, when did you file for your candidacy for the town of Latta?
I don't have that in front of me.
This shows the petition where he signed it on, I believe it was September the 14th. On second page, it states his address is 945 West Calhoun Extension, Dillon.
If you would just identify the document that you handed off.
Statement of intention of candidacy.
And also the receipt of them receiving his petition. And this is the receipt of them receiving his petition.
Did he receive this petition?
No. This is what Robbie did.
Yeah, I understand that.
That's the town saying that they received it and what time they received it on.
This is a statement of intention of candidacy. Are you saying then, Ms. Mason, that this is the date that he received, this indicates the date he received this?
This is the date he turned that in.
Because there's not a form, there's not a date.
I know that's the reason I had to, because it's multiple pages, that's the reason I had to print the 2 pages, because they don't have it on that form for some reason. But that's the day he turned that in to the election commission. Now, if you need all of that, I did not make copies because it was a rather large file, and you have it.
Can I respond to that?
Yes, sir.
When I went to sign up to run, I did live at 945 West Calhoun Street. It was brought to my attention through 2 attorneys and the municipality association that you need to be prior 30 days before you elect in the district municipality. So that's when I went and changed. And I asked the director again, do I need to change on the, when I did the first list, did I need to change that? She said, that's no problem, that won't count. I mean, not, she said, that's not, going to affect you. She said, as long as you change it, that you're going to be in that district, you will going to run, as long as you live, not live there. She said, as long as your home is 30 days before, and that's what I've done. I'm within the law, 30 days.
And this is the election commission office.
Miss Susie Edwards, and, and like she told me that 2 days ago, she said, Robbie, I'll tell you one more time. South Carolina, they never gave you a voting card, and they give you a book when you go to the polls to vote. She said they would never put your name in the list to be able to vote if you weren't eligible to vote.
That's anything.
That's that is.
I'm like, we're just, and again, we're doing a lot of hearsay. Mr. Howard, can you tell me how many times you changed your voter ID in the past 7 years?
I have no idea.
Try 5.
I haven't worked below.
Well, that depends. You had your domicile set at 945 West Calhoun Street until just recently, as per your own testimony. But I have you at 708 East Jefferson Street on 32121. Voter registration.
Can I answer that?
You've already answered it. You've already told us that you live at 945 West Calhoun
But
Street.
that's not what I'm telling you.
And that was your domicile.
When I signed up, I lived. But I have lived at 708 East Jefferson Street. That's my property also. I can live there some too. I mean, for a day.
And Emmanuel Loop Road with your son?
Yes, I can live there when it's time.
So basically you're saying you got more than one property?
I got more than one property, but you can, I've got more than one property, and there's no law, according to Mr. LaFontaine. Like he told me, when I went to talk to him when I was going to run, he said, Robbie, I can hit you. He said, well, I live in.
If I could interject, I think this is the hearsay that Ms. Mason is referring to.
Okay.
Certainly, Mr. Leggett's welcome to come testify or represent Mr. Calhoun.
All right, next I'm going to show you, as you just stated, he has multiple properties. These are the properties that I found in his name. They're all the mailing addresses to these properties are 708 Jefferson Street or 945 West Calhoun Street.
Repeat that again for me, Dr. Teresa.
All of his mailing addresses on those, for those properties, are either 945 West Calhoun Street Extension or 708 East Jefferson Street. He does not have one tax bill at all being sent to his supposed residence at 304 South American Street.
Can I respond to that? There's no law that says it's got to be set in my residence. I send bills all the time to my convenience store at Little Rock, and that's not my residence. You know, I mean, I've got bills that go there. I mean, financial statements that go there. I mean, they got a lot of stuff that goes to the convenience store, you know.
Mr. Coward, I'll say what I think she is trying to say. I don't think per se that you're breaking a law by having it sent to a different address, because to my knowledge, which I don't have a great extensive knowledge on the laws about things where they have to be sent. But I think she is just saying that you are receiving mail at this address. I don't think she's saying that you're breaking a law. I think what she, and I could be wrong, but I think Ms. Mason is just showing that you're
Showing that there's consistency, that all of his paperwork, all of his tax notices, all of his bills are not, nothing is being sent to 304 South Marion Street.
I've got time to change over my stuff. I mean, like I said, if I still want to, I still think I'm okay to send it to that address in Dillon. I mean, there's no, like I said again, there's no law that says that I've got to send it to there. I mean, I'm not breaking the law on you.
Okay. You said you drove your truck today, but you don't have your registration or your insurance card.
Okay.
Have you changed your vehicle registration?
No, I haven't changed my vehicle registration.
State law, section 46-78 allows an automobile owner 30 days within which to notify the State Highway Department of an address change and to obtain a corrected registration card.
Can I answer that? Well, if I have broke state law on that behalf, on that vehicle, it's not election law. It's not nothing to do with the election.
This has nothing to do with election law, so this is I'm showing and proving a consistency of the fact that you do not have anything at 304 South Marion Street. That's what I am shooting here, proving that you have nothing at all, that you do not reside there.
That's your thinking, and I've got my thinking as I am, and my intent is.
Intent went out the door 30 days prior to the election. 30 days prior to the election, under the Municipal Association Code, there are rules to determine residency that come from the state South Carolina Code of 7125, which is what I protested on. Defines a person's residence as a single place the purpose intends to return after an absence. Like if you go to work, when you return, you will be returning to 304 South Marion Street for at least 30 days prior to the election. The requirement will be applicable also for serving as a council member
Yes, sir.
I have returned to that address, and I plan to return there again, you know. I have returned there. I have returned to 304. Prior to 30 days, you know, before the election.
Can I ask a question, Mr. Gallagher? Have you returned to your previous home during this time period also?
Not to the 945, I have been to 708 East Jefferson Street. I haven't been to 945.
I haven't been there at all.
At all. I haven't been to 945. I have been to 708 Jefferson Street where my wife and daughter lives.
Mr. Coward,
What's that address now?
708 East Jefferson.
And who stays there?
That's my wife and daughter.
over the last 30 days, how many nights, if you had to guess, because I'm sure you haven't tallied them, like most people would do that, how many days or nights would you say that you have spent at the 708 East Jefferson Street?
I spent every night there, or is it night? But there's no law in this, where a man lays his head or a woman lays her head. I have spent every night at 708 East Jefferson. And that case has been tried twice in Dillon County, and that same question came up, and it was brought up that you can't tell a person where to sleep at night.
do you have your insurance policies and your official documents and papers, which are required for statement of residence? What addresses do you have on those?
I've got, like I say, I've got insurance goes to 708 East Jefferson Street. I've got insurance that goes to 2518 Highway 9 West.
Okay, I'm not asking for your address, I'm asking for your statement of residence. What address when you go to the insurance company, say, this is my address, not your mailing address, but your address. What address do you have on those?
I haven't changed my address since the move to this residence. I haven't had, changed that address.
Okay, so in
On
three,
the insurance, I haven't changed that address. When you say insurance, I haven't changed the address on the insurance.
or your vehicle registration or your ID.
No.
304 South Marion Street claimed as your primary residence on your personal property tax.
Why now?
Is 304 South Marion Street claimed as a primary residence on your personal property tax records?
I don't know what, you talking about what kind of personal tax, property tax you're talking about?
The personal property tax records. You have the sheet in your hand, I'm assuming you knew.
As I stated before, when I went to the Dillon County Assessor's Office,
Again, I don't need,
well, I refuse to ask, I don't know what you're looking for.
this is showing the property here at 304 South Marion Street. You saw it earlier, I'll give you a copy of it, stating that it is a family-owned house, not one he would his own personal property taxes.
Before you answer that, don't take this wrong way. Is he a witness?
Who, my husband?
Yes.
No, he just
Well,
made
we can't
comments.
have him whispering to you, because if he whispered to him, I'm gonna say something.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
That's
We
fine.
gotta keep it straight over across the board.
Yes, sir.
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
It doesn't matter if it is in mine and my two brothers' name. You don't run for an election, you don't have to own the property. I could even rent it if I wanted to. I mean, I can rent a property. A lot of people that won elections, no questions, they don't own no property, they rent property. It's not a law that you have to own where you stay. I can rent a property.
Thank you for asking. That's my next question. Do you have a rental agreement between yourself and your co-owners of your property for this property?
There's no law that says you have to have a rental agreement.
I just asked yes, no question.
No, I don't have no. But I've got interest in the property. That's,
I think, Mandy, you already asked, how many days have you resided at 304 South Marion Street prior to December the 7th?
Prior to December the 7th,
Yes, sir.
I go there every day. I go there every day. There's not a day that goes by I don't go there.
And why are you going there?
Well, I'm having some work done on the property and that kind of stuff, but,
But the property is not yours. It's your brother's and family, so you're not having that done. You're doing that as a business investment, is that correct?
no ma'am, no ma'am, no ma'am. No ma'am, I'm doing it as my property, as my interest. No ma'am.
Okay, and how many days have you slept at 304 South Marion Street since winning the election?
I've already explained that to you. I haven't slept a night over there at night. I sleep at 708 East Jefferson Street.
Can you provide any proof of change of address from your prior residence to your current residence since your driver's license, your vehicle registration, and nothing else has been changed?
Ma'am,
Can you provide proof of change of address from your prior residence to your current residence since you have not changed your driver's license, you have not changed your voter registration, well, excuse me, I said that wrong, you have not done your vehicle registration? Can you show any proof that you changed your address? Other than you're saying, telling the voter registration that you moved. Other than you telling them that, which is not proof, do you have any proof of change of address?
I don't have anything with me at the time. I don't have anything with me at the time. Right here at the court. I don't have anything with the court. I can do anything, but I didn't bring it.
What address or addresses did you file your reports for the South Carolina State of Ethics Commission?
I think it showed up under 2518 Highway 9 West. It's my business, because I had registered there, not registered there, but it goes to where you used before. I think that's what happened. 9/25/18, or either 9/45, I don't really know, to be honest with you. It popped up one or the other. They might have done it at 7/25/18.
And have you gone in and changed that to their correct address?
No, I haven't.
Here is the South Carolina Ethics Commission. Unfortunately, it does not have a date on it. I did print them off last night, and if you want, I can have someone bring that up for you.
If you just identify what you're handing them for the
South Carolina State Ethics Commission, Public Disclosure and Accountability Reporting, Statement of Economic Interest and Review. Now, he has on that one, he's at 2518 Highway 9. Now, on the South Carolina State Ethics Commission Candidate Campaign Disclosure Review, he's got 945 West Calhoun Street. As of yesterday, none of these items, actually, have been changed to reflect the current address of Latta.
I remember from it.
Sir.
The main thing I want to know, that intent is a wide issue. She got an intent to go one way, I got an intent to go the other way. And I think the town attorney's made it clear on record the other day that the intent is a very wide thing. So, I mean, I almost all understand that intent is, my intent.
That's not addressing what you just presented.
Okay, well, that's right.
What kind of mail do you receive at 304 South Marion Street on a daily basis?
So all I got so far is this water bill, and a light bill. So far, I think I better come over there.
So you got 2 bills that went to that address? And you have them here?
I've got the, I guess, that water bill where I paid it.
Do you have anything like a bank statement, a credit card, tax notice?
I haven't done anything. That's where I paid the water bill, that's the receipt for the water bill that I paid at that address. This is where I done a mail out, and it had my address on it, and it was returned, and I've got it, and where I've been to that,
Let me see that.
water bill too. That's where I paid the water bill. I sent that to somebody that returned, and I got it out of my mailbox where it's returned.
So you was,
Okay,
okay,
right here.
I see that address. And this here is your,
Water bill. Where I paid it.
what day was that? So you read, what is that?
That was my first water bill getting paid.
And how many other places do you pay water and light bills at?
How many other places I pay water bill and light bill at?
Yes, sir.
I've got several places. I mean, I've got 2 businesses that I pay light bills at. And I've got, there's 3 properties, other properties. I got 5 or 6 places I pay light bill at.
So do you reside at those also?
What now?
Do you reside at those also?
No, but I don't claim to reside in those. I don't claim to reside in those. I claim 304, this address here, 304 South.
But your driver's license and your vehicle registration says that you do not live at 304 South Marion Street.
But that's not a election law. That would be something the highway department would have to do to me. There's nothing.
Again, this is not court as in they're gonna convict you of anything. This is for me to show that you have not resided at 304 South Marion Street. It is a property investment that you were just fixing up. It is not a property that you reside in.
I don't agree with that. I don't agree with what you
Okay?
said.
How many personal property items are located at 304 South Marion Street? How many pairs of underwear, how many shirts, pants, beds?
That's no concern of what I got. I don't have to explain that to you. That's not your concern.
It states that the voting purpose, and this comes again from the municipal, the ruling determined. It also states for voting purposes, a person changes a domicile by abandoning the previous home and establishing a new one where the person has no intention to leave that place.
I have no intention to leave.
You haven't even been there yet.
Yes, I have. I just haven't spent the night there. And I
You
think
just
if
told
you-
us that you hadn't spent the night there, which
I haven't
is,
spent the night there. I'm not saying I've spent the night there.
and you have no personal items there.
Yes, I have personal items there. Yes, I have personal items there.
At this time, I am going to ask that the Municipal Election Commission go to 304 South Marion Street and view the residence.
Can I say something? They don't have the authority to go to my house and go to my residence. They don't have the authority.
It's not your house.
Yes, it is my home. You can't go in my home just going in there just because they want to see it or anybody else wants to see it.
There's no need for y'all to argue over that. We're gonna ask
There are provisions under the rules of civil procedure to do something called view the scene, where the court goes to the location to view it.
Outside of the location. But you can't go inside. Now, the reason I'm saying this, I just watched a case in Georgetown 30 days ago, and it was brought out in front of the election board, just like we have here. They was questioning on the same thing. They don't have the right, and the board made it clear.
We need
They don't have the
precedents.
right.
We need paperwork. We need precedents.
Yeah. I refuse to let anybody go inside of my home without a court order from a judge. That's
So,
just my opinion. And then you have to get them, I just don't.
for purposes of trying to clarify, to avoid us needing to do that, if the commission decided they were going to go to your home, what items of personal property would be in there? Please tell us that, Mr. Howard.
I don't have to tell you that, and I'm not going to.
Before we go any further with that part there, because I think we're going back and forth with this, and I'll be honest with you, me, myself, as a commission, I'm not going to anybody's house unless a judge order me to go.
There you go.
I'm not, because I don't want nobody going mine.
Well, that, address what she just asked me on.
I'm refusing to let anybody go inside my home.
She didn't ask you.
He said he refused to answer the question about his personal
Well, why
property.
would you refuse? Just to answer the question of
Why
why
would I
the property
refuse?
down there.
Because it's nobody's concern is what's on the inside of my home.
Thank you very much.
Under
Whatever you do.
all right.
And you're a witness, right?
I'm sworn in.
You sworn in. So, is he sworn in as a witness or sworn in to help her with the case?
He was sworn in as a witness to be called upon.
And I was asking if he wanted me to
She
do
was
something.
asking me about
something
my
else.
testimony. She was asking me, did I mind giving the testimony that she was wanting to present? I said,
Okay. All right. I just want to make sure.
That's fine.
We want to make sure that, we want
I'm
to
not
make sure
giving
that.
legal counsel, no.
Yeah.
I feel that without a doubt that I've showed that Mr. Coward did not reside in the township of Latta in the last 6 months as required by the town ordinance. Town ordinance being Section 246. I do understand that y'all have the opinion, and I think you have it in your folder, that Mr. Glenn Green, and it says that the petition candidate must reside within the registration of elected district, and it basically says that they don't feel that this town ordinance would hold up. However, the Attorney General of the state of South Carolina has said, as always, a municipal ordinance is a legislative enactment and therefore presumptively valid unless and until a court declares it invalid. So even though we have Mr. Glean Esquire's basically saying that it won't, it has not been proved otherwise. And Mr. Coward himself has said he did not reside in the town limits of Latta 6 months prior to the day of the election.
Which one you reading from?
This is
You reading from November 16th, or you reading from June 24th of 1984?
I'm reading from November 16th, from a letter from the Attorney General.
So you saying Mr. Glean wrote, so you saying this letter here?
It's superseded by this.
Listen, so
Yes.
So my question is, that this thing here said the town council members, this is November 16, 2021. So you're saying the letter that Mr. Green wrote back in June the 21st
It's not a
of
court document.
1984, they just get the response now November 16?
No,
Or
sir.
do we have another letter, which I'm gonna put it on record because I asked her, and I still hadn't got it. Was there another letter wrote to the state attorney general about this, and I haven't got it yet? And you open the door there, in my concerns, because I've asked her this more than one time. We got 2 letters here now. One I got last night, one I got
That's
the
the
day of
same ones
election.
I've got. Yes, sir.
So my question is, and I need to ask Janet this here before I can have a clear understanding. This letter here for November 16 is a letter that the attorney general just responded to from 1984?
No,
right.
that is incorrect, and I'm sorry if there's something I didn't get you. I did try to give you as much as I could, and I evidently missed that. My
That's what I'm
understanding
saying, when she just said that.
is in the fall of 2021, a letter was sent to the Attorney General requesting an opinion. I was actually asked to send that letter, but I was en route out of town for a multi-day seminar. I'm not sure. I know the letter was sent. I've never seen it that I recall. That is the response to that letter. And I apologize if I have seen it and I don't recall it. But I was asked to send it and was out of town, and it was sent. And I don't personally believe I have a copy of it.
All right, excuse me, since Jared is a witness, I can ask him this now. This thing that said the town council members,
Yes.
was this something that the town council voted on for y'all to send to the attorney general, or
This was.
was it just, let me finish.
Okay.
Was it discussed to send this letter? Well, my question is, how did this letter get sent to the attorney general? And it says town council, so I'm assuming about it being town council. That's something that brought in front of the town council. And was it voted on? Was it anything, that's,
You ready for answer?
yes, sir.
So first of all, there's 2 things to consider. Number 1, the letter to the Attorney General was written by myself. As the administrator of the town of Latta, I have that right to do it all by myself. I did not need other council members to do it. So the fact that my name is on it,
I don't see it. No, we
I've got the letter and I can produce it. I didn't know that was going to be an issue, but I can produce the letter for you guys. And my name is on that letter. I don't, okay, I see, he just wrote council members. But your answer is, majority of council, we've got 7 members of council. I went around and told members of council that I was going to do it. Members of council that had expressed issues to me. And I said, I'm going to write this letter. Would you like me to include your names on it? And there are 4 out of the 7, which speaks to the majority of council, given, even if I didn't have the authority as the administrator to do it, now I've got the authority of majority of council. And like I said, I can produce the letter for you guys. I did not know that kind of.
I understand, well, we asked for it 1 or 2 times.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that request, but I'll give it to you. Matter of fact, I'll give it to you before you convene today if you like.
We might need it.
Well, I can step out, and it's probably on my cell phone, but I didn't bring my cell phone inside. I'll show you a picture of it on my cell phone.
Why don't we let him know about it if that's an important document to you? If you'd like him to go ahead and get his cell phone, just send it.
Well, we're gonna take a break from
No,
the
that's fine. I'll get for you in the break.
Can I make a response? Number 1, as a council member, you cannot poll council. It is against the law to poll council. You have to call a meeting, you have to advertise within 24 hours, you got to make an agenda, and you got to get the vote on record. There got to be minutes of where them council members voted to authorize the administrator to
Okay.
do that.
I'm gonna say, I feel like we're getting off topic because the topic of this was how the Attorney General feels about the amendments or the ordinance that was made to this particular South Carolina law. The whole about how the letter came about or why, if it was done correctly or not, I don't feel really pertains to how the Attorney General feels about our town ordinance. I feel like that's the main focus. I don't want us to get off topic about council doing stuff.
She brought this evidence on.
It's an evidence.
We got to discuss.
You gotta discuss it.
Discuss how the letter came about.
Yeah, you gotta discuss it, yeah.
I did not put that in evidence. Y'all had it already.
I would just suggest y'all consider the issue of relevancy.
Go ahead.
All right, as always, a municipal ordinance is a legislative enactment and therefore presumptively valid unless until a court declares it invalid. And as this section 246, mayor and council member qualifications, has not been overruled by a court, I have already shown that according to our laws and statutes of the town of Latta, Mr. Coward does not meet the 6-month threshold of being a resident of the town of Latta.
I respond to that. Both opinions is from the Attorney General, and it tells Jared or town council that didn't know nothing about the letter, was addressed to the town council, and the one Mr. Green asked about. Both of them said that the town ordinance can override the state law.
But it has to be proven invalid in a court.
That's where we're at today, is in the
This
court.
is not a court.
Okay.
We're here for a hearing.
Okay, well,
So as the Municipal Election Commission of the town of Latta, I ask that you uphold the town law and produce a ruling in my favor.
Are you finished? Are you finished
I'm
with
done,
your
yes, sir.
testimony?
Yes, sir.
Robbie?
as the winner of the mayor race.
Do you have, is he gonna, you gonna be a witness there? You know,
We're done.
we done?
As a winner,
We're gonna take a break right now. and
it won't take us just a minute, I say.
We're gonna take a break.
Okay.
Let's take a break, but I'd like him to have an opportunity to go get that.
Okay.
Robbie?
Before you start, Mr. Cowell, there was a, you finished reading it? There was a letter brought in here, for you, but we read it, we're not gonna go into details of what it's about, but we're not considering this a letter or what it is. Also, we discussed, right, the minute breaks of this right here was not notarized, so we're not looking at this as well. Okay, but we're not discussing what this letter here says. Can we say that on record like that?
Yes, that's correct.
All right, you proceed.
I would like to thank everybody for coming out today, and I'd like to hope that the board would hold the certification that they're doing on Wednesday or Thursday, or the certification we're doing.
Thursday.
I would hope they would hold that up and not violate only my right, but the 275 or 74 other people that voted for me in the town, because they felt like I was the best candidate. And I would hope that y'all would hold that up. And I voted in the election. And Mr. Lane, one of the board members, stood and talked to me, probably for 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes. And I feel like if there would have been an issue with me not being a voter, registered voter in the town 30 days before, Mr. Lane would have brought it to attention, and he said, I need to protest this Bible, stick it off to the side.
When was this?
The day of the election, when you was asking about my back, when you were sitting up against the wall in the office. You know, you had that conversation, and you said me watch me go vote. That day, remember that?
I did.
And Mr. Taylor Day walked out the door the time I was coming in, when he seen me coming in to vote. So he could have protested. But make a long story short, there's 274 people beside myself that voted for me. And I would hope this board would hold up that, what y'all did the other day. And I also hated that Miss Mason didn't take the loss and said, I'm not going to cost the taxpayer of the town of Latta. We already know, we went to a council meeting, they are limited on funding. And I would not want to cost the taxpayers of Latta the money that by her protesting it's gonna cost already. And if it goes to another step, it will probably cost more money. So I'm gonna ask y'all to hold up y'all, what y'all done the other day, the two of you, and you two, Matt, if you could help them, I mean, but I want you to understand, I just appreciate everything, and, we're gonna go with that. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And can I say one more thing? I'm sorry. And I'm not going within the 6-month rule, I'm going within what the state law says on the ordinance. And, they've sent back to the town of Latta, and the town attorney has explained it to full council. And Mr. Taylor couldn't get a second for the town council to get involved in it. Even Miss Macy's husband, he's a town council member, he wouldn't have seconded the motion that he didn't do. So I want that on record.
May I respond to that? My husband could not second the motion because it would have been a conflict of interest.
Okay. I'll take that.
As far as I understand, he does not want to go with the 6-month ruling. That is a town ordinance. It is the law of the town. I ask that you uphold that law of the town until the court overrides it.
Thank you. So I'm all I have, Ms. Penny. That's all I have.
I just have one question, and this one question only. Have you abandoned your home at 708 East Jefferson Street completely? Have you abandoned it?
I have been abandoned that home, but the home that I moved from is 945. Like I say, my wife lives at 708.
Okay, you said that's where you spent the night, every night this past month, right?
Yes, sir.
So, do you feel that you have abandoned that home where you have spent the night?
I have went and spent the night there. I mean, I have spent the night there. I'm not gonna lie to you, I have spent the night there. But I have come to my home in Latta and stayed in the daytime. I've been at my home in Latta in the daytime.
I just a yes or no, do you feel that you have abandoned 708 East Jefferson Street?
Number one, it's not an effort if I've abandoned 708 East Jefferson Street. My relatives prior to this was 945 West Calhoun, and I haven't spent one night in that home since I've been 30 days prior or whatever. Since I've moved my residence, I haven't been back to 945 West Calhoun, which is my residence.
So can you give me a yes or a no answer as to whether you have abandoned that address?
No, but I've also not abandoned my convenience store, but I go there too. That's just no, I haven't abandoned that. That's not part of my thing.
Let me ask you a question here, because I didn't write your address down. What is your address on your license?
My address on my license at this moment is 945 West Calhoun, which is my prior residence.
Have you abandoned that?
Yes, sir, I have abandoned that 945.
But you said you have not abandoned 708 East Jefferson.
If my wife and daughter live there, I can go to and stay with them. I mean, if that's what you're trying to get at.
No, I'm not.
I don't want to switch off over the bank. I can go stay with my wife and
I
daughter.
promise it's not a trick question. I just wanted to know, you said you have abandoned 745, and this is a question that we have to answer. So, I'm just asking if you have abandoned 708 East Jefferson. That's the only one.
Oh, I went there last night. And I'll go back there tonight. That's the proof.
Anything further?
That's all I ask, sir. Just ask to do the best you can of the courts, board.
No, I have nothing.
Okay, we're going to pause for another period of time to review what we've heard here today. And hopefully we'll be back very shortly. Or can we go somewhere?
I don't know that we might should ask them to step out.
Either way, we can step
We
back.
can all step out. We probably just-
Yeah, I think
They all mind stepping out? Okay, thank you all very much for being patient. We weren't just stalling and talking in here. We considered and looked at and considered all of the evidence that was presented. And we take very seriously what we were here to do. And when we render our decision, I'm asking you to please remain calm. We're not going to put up with any celebration by either party or whatever. But we're going to read our order. It took most of this time took. write what we decided. And she had to handwrite it. And that's why it took so long. Ms. Grice is going to read this for you, and copies will be available to those people that need them. So, Mandy, you want to go ahead?
An order following the hearing of the Town of Latta Municipal Election Commission in regards to the election protest filed by Teresa J. Mason. A hearing was held as above referenced pursuant to the South Carolina Code of Laws. After hearing, the Commission finds it has jurisdiction over the subject matter and parties to this action. We further find Teresa J. Mason has properly filed and served a notice and protest to the Town of Latta mayoral election held December 7, 2021. Having heard the testimony and considered the evidence presented to this Commission, the Commission finds as follows. The Commission declines to address the Town Ordinance Section 2-46 as unnecessary to make this decision. The Commission is considering the South Carolina Constitution and South Carolina Code of Laws, and specifically Code 7-5-610 and 7-1-25 as the applicable laws. The Commission, after proper vote by a majority of the Commission, the vote for this decision was 2-1, making the following findings. We find Henry L. Coward, aka Robbie Coward, is not domiciled in the Town of Latta municipal boundaries as required by South Carolina Code 7-5-610, and that he failed to have resided in the municipal limits for at least 30 days prior to the election. The court finds Mr. Coward testified he has not abandoned his prior residence. South Carolina Code of Laws 7-1-25. This section defines residence as the single place the person intends to return to after an absence, and goes on to say that a person changes his or her domicile by abandoning the previous home and establishing a new one where he has no present intention of leaving. Mr. Coward testified under oath he has not abandoned 708 East Jefferson Street in the city of Dillon, which is where his wife and children reside. Mr. Coward did testify he had abandoned his domicile at 945 West Calhoun Street, Dillon, South Carolina. The address on Mr. Coward's driver's license as of the date of today's hearing is 945 West Calhoun Street, Dillon, South Carolina. Evidence entered at the hearing reflect Mr. Coward's real estate tax bills have his address listed as 708 East Jefferson Street in Dillon, South Carolina. Wherefore, it is the order of this commission as follows. The election for Town of Latta mayor is overturned and found invalid due to the fact the successful candidate, Henry L. Coward, aka Robbie Coward, being ineligible on the basis he is not a resident/domiciled within the municipal limits.
Thank you, Mandy.
Y'all now take a public vote.
At this time, we will take a public vote on how the commission voted. And I'm going to ask for those that voted to invalidate the election of Robbie Coward, raise their right hands. Those opposed to it, that is our vote. We're through.
Now, what's the next step? Tell us what the next step, we're going to the next step.
Well, you
Understand that?
you got 10 days
That's 10 days
to
to
appeal.
Give you one as
10 days, Robert.
Illustrator.
Be sure that you understand.
I have 10 days.
And remember that we're just lay people. We don't have law school training or.
I understand, I feel it, I what you just said.
We do the best with what we have.
Sorry, it's handwritten, don't put. Let me point out, first of all, I apologize that it's handwritten. I will try to type it off, but we're required to provide a written order, so to comply with the statute. You will also note on the copies, there is kind of running off the first letter on the edge of the page. We do have the original, which will be filed with the clerk of court that was just the way it turned out, and obviously we don't have copiers and all that here to do it differently. But we are adjourned.
Since, I mean, I know, we're still in the thing, I mean, can I ask a question, Mr. Corky?
Sure.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Have y'all been certified? And are y'all certified board?
We were sworn in.
Sworn in.
Sworn in, or are you certified? Have you been to classes or anything like that?
Yes, we have.
Yeah.
And you've been given classes, and you give a certification? I'm just wondering, I'm asking you, but I'm asking to find out
What do
whether
you consider a certification? I don't.
I'm just asking, I talked to the attorney on the phone tonight, he said, find out if the board certified, now that's all he asked.
We were legally appointed to serve.
Okay, I'm not saying what we're wrong, I'm just saying, he told me that.
And we went to classes. I don't know, I don't have a saying I'm certified.
I don't know. And that might be what he was asking, he did ask me that. I mean, I'm not questioning.
I understand. Okay, you're adjourned. Thank you very much for listening.